Welcome to From Caving In to Crushing It, the podcast for those who find themselves immersed in adversity and choose to write their story instead of having others write it for them. I'm Drew Deraney, and I'm your host. Hey, Ron, so good to see you.
Yeah, you too, Drew. Well, thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm loving that you're here, and I love the hat. The hat says, what does the hat say for the audience?
Don't mind me, I'm different.
We're all different, my friend. We're all different.
Yeah.
The audience knows I always thank the person who introduces me to my guest. And this is kind of different because you learned about us from Pod Pitch and you learned about Pod Pitch from your coach, Christine Blodsdale. So, Christine, thank you for introducing Ron to Pod Pitch. And Pod Pitch, thanks for helping Ron out. Glad we found each other. We had a great initial call, and I definitely wanted him on the show. So
Yeah.
that's thank you all around, everybody. I always start this show by talking about how when we're young, we're told that life is linear. It's a straight line, it's a straight path. If we do A plus B plus C, D is going to happen. Well,
Mm.
for the most part, life is linear until it's not. There comes that external circumstance or that adversity that comes in between one of those letters, and we go from a straight path to that circuitous one we live now. And when that happens, when adversity rears its ugly head, there are three types of men out there. There's man number one who doesn't even notice the adversity. He's got so many blind spots, it's ridiculous. And he's learned to live life the way people told him to live. And that's what he does, and nothing changes. I don't have man number one on this show. Now, there's man number two. He's got a heightened self awareness, more so than man number one, and he sees the adversity, yet he says he's the victim. I'm the victim. Everybody else is to blame. Life's doing it to me. I can't change anything. It is what it is. And he goes along life and doesn't change a thing. And on his deathbed, he's got a ton of regrets. All right. I don't bring man number two on either. I bring man number three on, like Ron Souers. Man number three sees the adversity, and he finally says, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. This adversity is an opportunity, it's not a barrier. It gives me a chance to do something different, take massive action, and become a stronger man on the other side. Ron is that stronger man. So, Ron, do the audience and me a favor and reach back as far as you need to for that defining moment, whether it was the tap on the shoulder, the whisper in the ear, or like what I needed, the two by four upside my head that transformed you from either man number one or two, whoever you were, to man number three, the man you are now, and how that affected you personally and professionally. You got a good story for us?
Yeah, I would say that that moment was when I woke up on the mall of DC, homeless, and I just had enough. Like I had enough of the drugs, like I had enough of that lifestyle. I had enough of, trying to figure my life out and that I needed help. And that moment has slowly but surely transformed me into the man that I am today.
Wow. So give us a little detail. So you wake up and you open your eyes and you realize where you are. The blind spots are gone. Were you considering yourself a victim, or did you go right from the blind spot guy right to the one who said that's it?
No, that definitely didn't. I definitely thought like and I woke up and it was cold and I was just like, this isn't fun anymore. This isn't how I want to live my life. Um, because I was actually working a job and became homeless again, and for like the second time in my life, and
Wow.
I just was like, I need to change this. And there was a freedom in admitting that I was an addict and
Mm,
that I needed help. And, that led me to getting the help. And a lot of it was, and even that week was crazy.
mhm.
Um, it's not like I gave up drugs at that point,
Right.
but I was in the process of like, okay, because it's a relationship. It was a relationship that
Correct.
I had,
Okay.
and I had to give up that relationship and understand that it was something that helped me or I thought helped me for so long. Like
Right.
it numbed the pain.
Mm,
It
okay.
numbed the emotions that numb the shame of, and it got me away from like all the supposed doubts that I had. And I thought it was helping me, but
Hmm.
it was really holding me back creatively, spiritually, everything. But
Right.
I didn't learn that right away.
Right
That didn't
away.
like just come in that moment where like
Right.
God came down in the doves and like I was like, yeah, this is my life's gonna be totally different. No, it was there was a lot of, being a victim and
Hmm.
um there was a lot of like I had to understand that it wasn't the drugs that was really the problem. The problem was that I didn't know how to deal with life
Right.
and that I continued to play that victim and, every time that I didn't take responsibility
Mhm.
for my actions, like I was only holding myself back,
Wow.
and my sponsor at the time was like, a really big key to that was like him asking the question, like, what part did you play in that? Like
Mm.
there was one time where I like I was living in this community house and, it's like a recovery sober house.
Right.
And we share this dryer and we have certain days that is our days. And like I was doing my laundry that day and somebody had taken out my laundry in the middle of the dryer cycle.
Mm.
And I was like really upset. So like I told my manager, I mean, I told the house manager about it and I was feeling real good. And then I went to my sponsor and was like, yeah, he's gonna like give me a pat on the back. And he was like, no, you probably shouldn't have done that. Like you should have taken responsibility for, and like, you're living in a house with a bunch of addicts.
Right. Yeah.
Like like expecting them to follow the rules is only gonna make me angry. So
Interesting.
I definitely didn't really receive that advice like right away, but it
Right.
made sense because like I've just got to time that. And if that happens, they it just happened. I can't just like nothing's going to fix that. It's just going to create a bigger situation. So
Right.
I was able to understand like, yeah, maybe like I started to try to take more responsibility in all the actions. Yeah,
Right.
it didn't look right in the, that from that point forward.
Right.
But it was like I was able to see that and start
Mm.
taking more responsibility, even though it was like, I had to admit things that I didn't want to. Like
Right.
I had to admit that I was like not the person that I thought I was.
Right.
So it really
Uh,
helped me change.
that's pretty powerful, and your sponsor was very helpful looking at it a different way. And I didn't even see that until you explained what he meant. And it's a good point. I mean, if you time how long the dryer takes and you know that these are addicts, they're not going to follow the rules, and maybe you stand by the dryer for the hour it takes so they don't take your stuff out.
Yeah,
Really,
yeah.
yeah, it's the little things we take for granted when straight and sober and all that kind of stuff that we take for granted. And now, thank God, you saw the light. So the first
Yeah,
step
thank
was
you.
going from man number one to two, getting rid of those blind spots. And hey, part of it, many of us claim we're the victim, right? What got you? I guess that was part of it. Your sponsor helped, but got you to realize that that after you got the help you needed, what was the next step? Like, what did you figure to do after you got the help needed and you stopped? I'm assuming you've been clean for a long time
Yeah,
from
it'll
drugs.
be this Thursday, it'll be 6 years.
God
So
bless. All right, congratulations on that
yeah,
anniversary. That's a big
thank you.
milestone. So take us to, maybe being sober for a week and how that felt and how you did that.
Well, I mean, I went into this treatment center.
Right.
And so like I had a lot of support and
Mhm.
it was just like um being in that environment and trying to like get involved with the group and like
Right.
going to like about 4 or 5 NA and AA meetings a day
Mhm.
really helped to create this structure, but it was still like just a bubble. And like by the
Right.
end of that period, and even in that, I was like, thinking about using, and I was
Right.
thinking that I was failing, that like,
Mhm.
how could I have these thoughts?
Mhm.
Like, what's wrong with me? And like, the more that like understood that, like I said, it was a relationship.
Right. True.
Like it was something that I did for my whole life. So it's not just going to change
Right.
overnight.
Overnight.
To
Right.
be honest, like I still have thoughts,
Right.
not as often, but of
Right.
using because it's like it's a reminder, like I'm
Of
still an
course.
addict.
Of
Like it's
course.
never going to change.
Right.
So throughout that process, like I became had a good fear of like
Mhm.
going back out in the real world because
Yeah.
like I didn't want to use, and this was uncharted territory. I've never like you're talking to a guy that thought I could not survive a day without smoking weed.
I see.
Like there
Okay.
was not one day.
Right.
And for me to be able to, so 30 days was uncharted to
Ooh.
60 days and 90 days was like uncharted territory. So I really needed somebody to help guide me through
Right.
that. And part of that was like the step work,
Okay.
applying the steps. At first, I thought it was just like, well, I just need to write out the steps and, check off a task, get this done as quickly
Mhm.
as possible.
Yeah.
But over time, I learned that it wasn't, that's part of the process.
Right.
Like it's the application of what I'm learning in those steps in
Sure.
my life that started to slowly change who I was.
Right.
And one of the toughest things for me, that took me the longest times was acceptance. It
Mm.
was like that steep level self-acceptance that I have ADHD, that I'm an addict,
Right.
because like the whole process was me trying to fix it and get better and like checking off, check this checked off, this
Right.
checked off, this checked off, so I could just say I did it,
Right.
but not actually like, internalizing it and understanding it like on a deep level that like there's, really nothing wrong with whatever's happening with me. It's
Mhm.
just what happened in life.
Right.
It's wrong the direction that I took.
Right.
I'm not responsible for being an addict, but I am responsible for my recovery.
Right. Hey, that's a good point. That's a good point. So you mentioned ADHD. At what point, I know we're going to talk about that in detail right now. At what point did you realize that you had attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and how that could have contributed to the addiction?
Yeah, totally. I found that out because I was about to lose my job,
Hmm.
and I kept getting called in to the office because like I would be going too fast. People were telling me to slow down. Even my sponsor was like, "Yeah," and I was just like, "Y'all don't know what you're talking about. Like, I've got to make up for lost time, all the time that I was an addict, all the time that I wasted, and there was always this people pleasing that I just
Mhm.
wasn't even aware of."
Yeah.
Because I was like, man, I don't need people. Why would I please them? But
Hmm.
everything else was just pointing towards that.
Right.
So at that point, like I was scared into getting the help.
Hmm.
So I went to my primary care and told him, like, yeah, I'm scared. I'm about to lose my job. Like, what can I do? Like,
Hmm.
I can't slow down. And she just kind of like gives me this blank stare of like, well, I don't really know what to do. Is it anxiety? And I was like, well, maybe it's ADHD. And she was like, kind of really not convinced, but she still gave me a list of psychologists and therapists. And
Right.
I went down that list like I needed to find that yesterday or last week.
Right.
Like I need the help right now because like again, it was that I needed to fix this. I
Yeah.
needed to have
Yeah.
that solution so
Right.
I could move on with my life.
Right.
And I went through that therapy. And one of the first things that he told me was that I know you think that this is a weakness, but we can actually turn this into a strength.
I love that. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, what is this guy talking about? Like,
Wow. Yeah.
and once that, like, and I was elated to know like there's something that this is something, there's an actual name for what I'm going through.
Yeah. And the
But
fact that
after
it
that
could be a
wore off,
strength. Yeah.
I was like, man, I'm one of those.
Ah, okay.
Like I'm broken. Like I had this deep sense of being broken already, being an addict on top of that, and trying to fix this thing that
Right.
wasn't even something that I needed to fix.
Fix, right.
I just
Exactly.
needed to
Yeah.
manage it better.
Right. So did you talk to your therapist about start feel broken with the ADHD diagnosis and how did he help you with that?
I don't think I really expressed that a
Okay.
lot,
Yeah.
because like I was still under that mindset. But then, so I stopped seeing him
Okay.
for a little while.
Right.
I 8 months, it was like a money thing, and like I was like, I think I'm better now. I don't need you,
Right.
and like, I ended up getting taking another role in my job,
Okay.
and this one required me to operate a fork truck and deal with
Oh,
chemicals and
oh
mixing.
boy.
So I was
Okay.
like, that people pleasing
Yeah.
showed up, and I wanted to be the best, get through that training, and show them like, yeah, you made the right decision here. And I ended up crashing into like a reinforcement pole, taking that out.
Wow.
Um, you know, Puncturing drums with chemicals in it. Like there was all types of wreckage going on. And, I was like going back. I needed to go back to my therapist,
Yeah.
and at that point I was like, man, this is something that I need to take seriously, and I needed to give it all the time that it needs, because like I was about to lose my job again. And even
Right.
after I was seeing him,
Hmm.
like I still hit this um this like rail and pulled it down
Ooh.
with because I got distracted, and I
Yeah.
was working so hard
Uh-huh.
on slowing down and and it was just like it was so frustrating at that moment, and I was so full of stress and scared of losing my job again.
Right.
And um, I remember that night I took off half the day because fortunately they have that, where you can just give them 30 minutes notice, and you can just use if you got health and save time, you just use it
Yeah.
whenever.
All right.
I
That's
went and talked to my sponsor, and really needed, to heal from that. And
yeah.
the next it was like that Monday they pulled me in, and I was just made the decision that I needed to step down from that role.
Okay.
And that was like the best decision that I made. Although
Good
at
for
the
you.
time it was
Yeah.
like, I was like, what did you do? What are people going to think about you? And
Yeah.
it was like,
Right. Of course.
forget what those people are going to
Good
think
for you.
about you,
Yeah.
because they don't have to pay your bills. They don't
True.
have to live your life.
They don't.
Like this, and I honestly, one of my managers came out, he was like, "Man, I'm so proud of what you did,
That's
because
great.
that took a lot of strength, because I've seen guys that just power through it and they end up losing their job."
Yeah.
So I was like, I knew, and I knew from that point, like I'm never going back to that. Me and heavy machinery, we're not made to be
Not
together, and that's
mixing. Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
I don't need that stress.
Good
And
for
I
you.
and it, and that's when I decided to look for other opportunities
Okay.
outside my job, and that's what led me to really, really transform it. And like that's when I found mindfulness, and that's what really opened up like so many doors
That's when you
to
found what? I missed that part. You found what?
mindfulness.
Mindfulness. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. All right. So let's talk about the transformation and what you're doing now, because I know you are helping people with ADHD and helping yourself too while you're helping others. Let's talk about mindfulness and what you're doing now in your profession to help people with ADHD.
Yeah. So I learned about mindfulness from my ADHD coach. So I got one because I wanted to know what it was like, because I wanted to be a coach.
Sure.
And I was wondering what the difference is, because I had a therapist, and
Yeah. Good
and there's differences. It's like the the therapist can help you understand what's going on and give you some tools, while a coach is going to motivate you and give you practical advice. Usually an ADHD coach knows they have ADHD, so
Right.
they can give you, that motivation that you're lacking, and that support, and
Right.
showing you what you're doing right.
Got it.
So it was really, very helpful. And she showed me mindfulness. And at first I was like, what is this
Mm.
gonna do? Like sitting there still, like it just sounds like it's not gonna help. Like,
Yeah. I
because I was
know.
talking about all this anxiety because I wanted to
Right.
build my business, and
Right.
I was getting so overwhelmed with like, having to clean the house and having to do basic stuff like cook meals for myself. And it was
Yeah.
like, this is getting in the way of me building my business. So I
I
was getting all
understand.
this anxiety.
Right.
And that's when she talked about mindfulness. So I tried it. And the first day I tried it, I was actually like, there was this happiness.
Oh,
It's like this like light went off, like, man, if I put this in, because it gave me this space.
right.
It gave me this
Point.
ability to step outside myself and
Mm-hmm.
to just observe the thoughts that are just running through my head. Like
Right.
most people with ADHD are running through, like they're drowning in these thoughts because
Yeah.
they don't have enough time to just sit back and say, like, wait, this isn't even like a thought I should be having, or where's that, or just stepping outside of that with curiosity.
Yeah. Curiosity is a big, actually, that's a huge thing is curiosity. If we continue to have curiosity,
Oh yeah.
it can keep you in the current moment and that mindfulness becomes stronger. Tell us how you're doing in your business. Like, how are you helping other people?
Yeah, I'm helping guys that, are over 40
Hmm.
that deal with ADHD addiction or depression,
Great.
how to help them become more social, and be
Sure.
and have more of those, like that communication and that connection,
Right.
because like we're designed by God to be connected.
Yes. Yeah.
And like when we usually isolate and we don't know how to talk about what's really going on. And that's where I go deep into that, like emotional, and mixing it with that mindfulness with character strengths, so that you can understand what your strengths are and how to lean on those and leverage those to help you understand your emotions and explore those emotions on a deeper level, and then be able to express those.
Mm-hmm.
Like part of what I coach is like going out to strangers and talking about, your passions, or what you're struggling with, being open
Right.
with that, because there is such a power in being able to do that.
Yeah.
Like if you because honestly, you're like, man, I don't want to tell the stranger, like, what are they going to think? Or
Mhm.
they might run away or be like, get away from me, or whatever is going through your head.
Right. Right.
But there's this freeing space
Yeah.
that you can talk about things that you can't tell the people, your closest family members,
That's
or the closest friends, because you're afraid. You built this 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 rigid structure of like, well, I can't talk about this
yeah.
because you've tried to in the past and you couldn't.
Right.
So there's this barrier there
Yeah.
that's not there when you're
Yeah.
talking to somebody.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm saying, well, run out to everybody and
Right.
talk to them. You,
Right. Yeah.
you'll understand like who you can talk to.
Of course. That's the skill you can learn. Who's the appropriate person to talk to who's going to bring you up rather than knock you down.
Yeah.
And I like the whole idea about conquering people pleasing because who cares what society says men are supposed to be like, right? We're going to
Yeah.
decide that for ourselves, and you're building strength with empathy with your clients. So I absolutely love that. Love that, Ron. So, audience,
Thank
you
you.
certainly captured the essence of Ron Souers, and you're going to want to get in touch with him. So, Ron suggested go to his website, youradhdguy.com. Now, I do know that you have some kind of challenge coming up, Ron. Can you tell us about that challenge?
Yeah, it's something that I'm brewing. It's like a soft opening of this challenge, and it's called the Reclaim Your Voice Challenge. It's a 7-day challenge where I coach you as a group to do what I do in 7 days,
Hmm.
to be able to go out and communicate and start to really develop that strong emotional connection through mindfulness. And I give techniques. We go into that whole mindset. And, yeah, I'm really excited about seeing the transformation.
Ah, I'm looking forward to hearing about it. When are you doing that?
I'm doing that November 3rd through the 9th. It's 10 a.m. to 11:30 p. Oh, no, that would be crazy. 11:30 a.m. Eastern time.
Okay, great. That's awesome. All right, so the 3rd through the 9th, you said,
Yeah.
of November 2025. So I'm going to make sure I get this episode out before that so people can hear it.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
No, absolutely. So, I could talk to you forever about this, but let's get to the last two questions I want to ask you. All right.
Yeah, me
So
too.
now I'm going to give you an opportunity to be in your happy place. You're sitting down with 7 to 10-year-old Ron Souers, and you want to give him advice about life, what are you going to tell him?
Just say, it's okay to be who you are. Like, don't, God doesn't make mistakes.
Mhm.
You have a gift, and like, you're gonna go through some things that are gonna seem unfair,
Mhm.
but it's gonna make you stronger. And like, honestly, I wish you didn't have to go through them, but I understand the man who I am today I could only be that by going through those things.
Love
But like, if I could soften the blow, just
it. Mhm.
be okay. Like, just be okay with whatever you're feeling. You don't have to, you don't have to run away from that. You don't have to disguise that in drugs. Like, and your dad loves you.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's beautiful. All right, so let's switch hats, and you're now sitting down with young entrepreneur, young businessman, Ron Souers. You want to give him advice about business? What would you tell him?
Just like keep doing it. Like, go till the brakes fall off. Don't give up, because that's just going to set you back, and you're always going to regret like not pushing forward. Some of the greatest people in this world, you look at J.K. Rowling, you
Mhm.
look at Steve Jobs, like they were either fired or told that what they were doing wasn't what the world needed, to go find something else,
Yeah,
and if you have something in you, and it's going to be tough,
yeah.
like anything worth it is going to take a lot of, and there's going to be a lot of failures, and it's going to
Mhm.
seem like it's not working, but it is going to work at some point. It's just going to it's going to be worth the effort.
I love it. It's so true. This is great advice, man. Hey, Ron, I want to thank you for not just coming on, but for finding us. I want to thank Christine and Podpitch and you for finding us. Glad you're in my world, man. A lot of
Yeah.
gratitude here. And I want you to keep doing what you're doing. You're a wonderful human being, and you've conquered so much, and you've transformed so much, and you got so much more work to do. And I'm proud of you, man. And
Yeah.
thanks again. And you take care of yourself, Ron.
Thank you. I appreciate your kind words, and the enthusiasm that you bring to your show, man. Like, and what you do is so amazing. Thank you
Thank
for
you,
being
sir.
you.
I appreciate it. Everybody out there, please take care of yourself. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, please subscribe and give us a review to help others find it. I'd like you to answer this question. Are you living the life you want to live, or are you living the life others want you to live? I'd like you to think about that for a second, because I strongly suggest you live the life you want to live. If you want to learn more about what I stand for and my services and how I'm able to help many men get out of their own way, please go to my website at www.profitcompassion.com. Feel free to also email me at drew@profitcompassion.com. I'd love to have a conversation with you. Take care of yourself and choose to write your own story instead of letting others write it for you.